Hey friends, welcome to this live. I'm Elena Motonono. I help online language teachers build more sustainable businesses so they are not just exchanging time for money, but learn how to do that in a smart way. Today, I'm talking about a very important question that I get asked a lot of times. And the question is about free stuff. And I hear that usually comes up when people talk about, well, everybody only wants my free stuff, and everybody only wants me to share things for free on YouTube or give my lessons for free, and I just can't do that. So, today I wanted to dive into the subject and talk more about the behind the scenes kind of thing, or rather the design of free stuff. Why do you need it? What is enough? What is not enough? Or what you might be doing today that is going to help you get more traction through the free stuff you are already creating and you already putting out there. First off, also, I am apologizing for my voice, coarse voice. I'm getting over a cold. So, free stuff, what is it? When you teach online, when you start working and building your business online, you create free materials, you create or post free content. Live is a free content for my target audience, online language. It might be, lessons, or it might be blog posts or podcasts, a lot of other things that you might be doing. There might be things that you're doing for free. And it feels like you're probably just like throwing stuff away and there's no traction at all. And I have totally been there and I know why this happens. And I'm going to talk about that. But why is free stuff important? Well, first of all, if people don't see that you are doing something for free, you're willing to give something for free, they are not sure if they can trust you altogether, right? So that's just the very basic thing. You need to show to them not only your expertise or the screenshots or, I don't know, pictures of your diplomas. You need to show to them what you're like when you teach, how do you present materials, how do you talk about your work, how have you helped people. That's where we talk about testimonials and how you can, using the materials that are free and available to everybody, how you can invite people to work with you in a paid situation, whether they buy your program or course or product, whatever. But free is necessary for people to trust you, right? They don't know if they can trust you if you don't show up on social media, for example. And you actually don't have to be on social media. I'm just saying that as an example. If you are saying that, oh, I have, a YouTube channel, but you never post anything on YouTube channel. So then the question is, well, if I pay you the money, are you going to show up for my classes? And that's where people are like, well, that's different because you paid me money. But the people that are making the decision to pay you money are the people that need to make a um, conscious decision to do that. And the way for them to do that is to see that you consistently show up. When you say that you're going to post like every week, I mean, obviously, you can decide how often you post, but when you say that you're posting, you're posting. You're not just like there in their inbox only when you're launching a course, right? You also want to give something of value for free. It shows your consistency, it builds people's loyalty, right? So then they make a choice. I don't want to watch any other YouTube channels about, English grammar. I'm only going to come to you. So that's about trust and loyalty. People see that you really care about the audience, not just about, getting students. And that stuff really comes out a lot, especially in the beginning when people go out there and especially if they just drop their job or quit their job and then they make a decision, oh, now I'm going to teach online. And then they feel very desperate. And every time they go online, they feel like they have to just kind of push it and only talk about the fact that I've got lessons, here's how much it costs. Come and hire me. Here's all of my materials or examples of my materials, or here's my certificate, CELTA, Delta, whatever it may be. That shows a lot of desperation and scarcity. And, even in a relationship, if you show up with like these graspy hands and you constantly want something from somebody else, they will run away from you. So it actually serves as the opposite, right? So showing up with free materials, with goodwill and generosity actually creates a lot of um, goodwill among your audience. And then you will see people signing up for your programs because they trust you, because they hear your own voice, they hear what you're like. You're not hiding behind some kind of a logo, right? You're there for them. So, free stuff. Okay. For those who are joining, if you have any questions about free stuff, you can feel free to drop them in the chat. If you are totally new to my channel, welcome. I would love for you to like and subscribe. And I really am looking forward to creating more content for you. So let's move on. What kinds of free stuff there's out there? What things are free? What do you do? What do you choose when you decide to go out there and instead of working for a platform, you want to work for yourself? What kinds of free stuff? So first, before I go into like the examples, I'm going to give you some, categories, and they are really arbitrary. I came up with them preparing for this live, but this is what I've taught in the past as well. So there's free stuff called all over the place, and I call it crumbs. So it's like you just throw stuff around. You go a little bit on TikTok, you go a little bit here, you go a little bit there, you post something here and there, and nothing is connected. Nothing has any kind of design. There's no strategy behind it. You're just throwing stuff kind of like spaghetti on the wall, hoping something will stick. Most of the time, people do that when they are not 100% committed to the audience that they are serving. They just want to sort of go out there and see, is it going to work? People are looking for guarantees. People are looking for, I need to make sure before I go on YouTube, for example, that people are going to like it, that a lot of people are going to show up to my lives, that a lot of people are going to watch this, that people are going to comment. And unfortunately, you don't have the guarantees, right? It's your decision. You are making the decision to go out there and make that choice. But when you do not make that choice, you start spreading crumbs. You start doing one thing, hoping and putting a lot of trust into it, and you're not doing it long enough because you are not committing to it based on the value of serving your audience. Rather, you're committing to it based on some kind of result. It's kind of like a bargain with the universe. I am here, and you're going to give me something in return. Just a moment. I'm going to get a little bit of my coffee. Excuse me. So, the second thing is, okay. So the second thing is the search of virality. I think I got it out. Okay. This thing is really scratchy. Anyway, so the first reason is we just throw out crumbs hoping something will work out. The second reason is we're looking for virality. Okay, so looking for virality is this kind of disease, I think, of our time, where we feel like I just want to crack the code, so I don't do the work. I want to crack the code, so I don't do the work. And people looking for virality, they spend a lot more time focusing on how do they make their video um, hit the playlist, of the viral video on TikTok, whether TikTok or YouTube. Um, and There's actually this addiction to it. And I've worked with people who had really a lot of success with their videos or with their podcasts, and they were really popular, but they still felt like nobody was buying anything. And I will actually get into that in just a moment. But this is this fixation on, I really want this to become this viral hit. And that way, your free stuff is really not accomplishing the purpose of serving the people. The only purpose it's accomplishing is your ego of, I just want to add more people. And if I don't reach more people, then it's not worth it. Okay. And that is a very, very common thing. And I see that especially with people, the so-called influencers, or people that are influencers in the making, that want to create something and they want people to remember them. And people like that can absolutely build empires and build a really successful enterprises, in that they will bring traffic and a lot of people will come and follow them, and maybe even sell, and people make millions doing that. But the problem is that it's never really fulfilling, because the free stuff that you're putting out there, you're not putting it to serve the group of people that you want to serve. Rather, you're putting it there to somehow fight the algorithm or to gain algorithm. And I hope, correct me if I'm wrong, the people on this channel are here because this stuff does not really attract you, or is not really attractive. It may be attractive to some people, but if it's attractive to you and you're watching this, I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you how to make a viral video, because even if you do, the thing is, the next day you will have to make another video, and it's very hard to know if it's going to be viral again or not. So the key thing I always think is to create something of value. And when you're creating something of value, then people see your work, and they build, and their trust is built. The last type of free stuff is what I call strategic, is when you share something, but unlike with crumbs, right, where you share a little bit of everything in hopes that something might stick. And I like with viral videos where you share only if it has, an opportunity to go viral. When you share strategically, you know where your content is going. And at that point, it doesn't really matter if you have like 10 people watching you, or if you have 100 people watching you, or 1,000 people watching you. If it is strategic and it focuses on your area of expertise and what you can do to serve your audience, it is very likely that it's going to connect with your ideal client, and eventually people will come and work with you more. They will be willing to commit when you are strategic about it, but also when you are mature about this. There is a lot of infantile kind of thinking in the online coaching spaces, especially like beginner online teachers. I see that a lot, and I used to have that as well, where you put something out there and you expect that, okay, something has to happen. So you put like timelines. But yeah, I'm going to post for like 3 months, and if I don't get any clients that come directly through YouTube, then well, it's not working. And so people then quit. And this is actually infantile position because when you are mature and you're approaching the idea of content creation from a mature perspective, you are going to do it because it's a part of the work that you do, and this work really matters to you. Now, if you are out there to like crack the virality code, or you're there to get more hits and likes on your video on YouTube so that you can, monetize that, that's a different story and it's not here. But if you're here to build a sustainable business, find clients and customers to for your products, not just paid members of your YouTube community, this is a little different. You want to be strategic in the content that you create, whether it's a YouTube and or podcast or other things, and you want to connect it to the thing that you are going to sell. So, for example, let's say you want to teach pronunciation, and you're really, really interested in how connected speech works. That's what I used to do in the past. I taught pronunciation and accent training, but specifically from the perspective of linking and connected speech. And I discovered that in order to get a lot of people interested in my stuff, all I had to do was to post some video on how to pronounce, a difficult sound in English, for example, the or something like that. And I discovered that the people would be really reacting to a video like that or engaging with that and things like that. But then it was more difficult for me to sell to these people that came because I told them how to pronounce the sound the, to sell them the idea of connected speech or pronunciation courses that deal with connected speech, because those are completely different. If you are a linguist, obviously a teacher, you know that, there's segmental phonetics and there's suprasegmental phonetics. And so connected speech deals with like a higher level of that. And so if you want to attract people to that kind of problem and show to them that you can help them solve it so that, they can understand speech, English speech better, or they can pronounce things better, you don't want to attract people with the things that are kind of crumbs, right? Or you don't want to look for, okay, what do people really, really want in pronunciation? And most of the time, it's the surface kind of level. People want just these like tiny little fixes to work on their pronunciation. So somebody tell me how to pronounce the sound the, and I don't know how many videos still need to be pronounced of that sound because there's like tons of them all over YouTube, right? But people still do it because there's a lot of interest in that. The problem is if you are going to create that kind of content and then connect it to the course that solves a different problem, you may not have as many customers, right? So it has to be consistent and it has to be within one kind of one area. Now let's talk about content and like free stuff and free content. When is it not enough? So there's some people, for example, that say, well, I post on YouTube every single week and I've been doing this for 3 years and I have not yet found one single client through that. That happens. I had a free newsletter that I sent for years before I had a client. I actually had one client and that was that. For years, every week, I was sending something out, but I did not get a return. Now, why is that? Why is that? Was that enough? Was that not enough? What's happening here? And so there are several things that usually might not work in this system. One of them is you're only posting your own content. So you're only showing up to create content only for your YouTube channel, only for your podcast, only for your social media, and you're never outside of it. So collaborations in this case are so vital. So being on other podcasts and being interviewed, going to summits and speaking at summits, going to other YouTube channels and being interviewed, and actually uh, pitching yourself to all these places and saying, here's how I can provide value for your audience. Now, why does this matter? Why does this matter? It matters just like endorsement matters, right? When you see somebody who you trust, who you like, who you've been following for 10 years, interview somebody who just maybe started 6 months ago or something, that creates an atmosphere of trust. That tells me, oh, this new person is probably legit. I can trust them. Now, there is a question, of course, well, how do I get on these podcasts? How do I get on these YouTube channels and things like that? And that's a very good question. But the idea is when you consume different content, you need to think about how, for example, if you were to be on this YouTube channel or podcast, how you can serve this audience. And when you go and you are being interviewed, think about the value that you're bringing to these people. And that is specifically, this is something that you want to, the way you want to approach your actual appearances on these in these places. So being seen in other trusted on other trusted blogs, YouTube channels is very, very important. The it's kind of like an endorsement thing. Another thing is connecting, creating something, creating opportunities to connect directly with the people that are watching you. So, for example, say you've had your YouTube channel for a while, and now you would like to do a little bit more, some more interaction. You can do a live, like here, obviously. My channel is relatively small. I have a list, an email list, which is not necessary, by the way. If you're just starting out, I'm going to tell you how you can, what other things you can do. But I have a list and I rely a lot on my email list. So once a month, I send out an email and I offer an opportunity for people to come and ask me questions. And that gives me an opportunity to like sit down, actually see the people that tell me, oh, I've been listening to your podcast, or oh, I've been watching you on YouTube. Oh, I follow you on Instagram and other things. Now, I'm saying this and I'm talking about these different channels. I've been doing this business for over 10 years, working with teachers. And prior to that was 4 years working just specifically teaching ESL. So please don't take that now you need to have 15 channels. I have a flow for everything that I do, and I have my own shortcuts that I take, right? But when you're just starting out, and you chose, for example, I'm going to use this podcast or I'm going to use this YouTube channel, seize the opportunities to go and talk about your podcast, talk about your YouTube channels on other channels, right? With other people, other creators. That's number one. And secondly, once you get more people, invite them into a space where they can talk to you for free. They can ask you questions. Now, this creates more of a community and more of a connection. So when these free things can be anything, it can be live class, can be conversation club if you have a lot of people. If you don't have too many people yet, you can offer free one-to-one sessions where you bring people and you help them diagnose, tell them what exactly is going on with their language, why they're not able to achieve their goals. And that gives you also an opportunity to sell and to pitch your offer, which is where I'm going. The next question is actually the question for the live today. Do people only want free stuff? Do people really only want free stuff? Well, the question is kind of tricky because if you have this feeling that people only want free stuff, then there's kind of a checklist that you can go through. You can take a look, first of all, at, do you have any strategy behind your YouTube channel or your Facebook group, or your podcast? Is there a strategy, or you're just spreading breadcrumbs everywhere, trying to see what will work? Or are you just trying to get some to hit some virality? So ask yourself that. Secondly, you need to ask yourself, are you telling people about your work? Like, are you telling people that you have courses, that you have programs, that you have one-to-one classes that are available? Are you making offers? Um, I worked with a client at some point, and she had a really robust um, YouTube channel, not YouTube, sorry, Instagram account, and at some point, one of her followers approached her when she took like a picture of teaching a class. And the thing is, she had never talked about teaching. She just kind of hoped that because she has a link to her website that talks about her teaching, people would just kind of immediately go and figure this out. But they don't. So we need to tell people, because there's a lot of distractions, right? People will forget. There's sometimes I follow somebody and I want to like tag them into my post and forget their name. And that's after I've been following somebody for a while. And if your name is not easily remembered, then it's even more difficult. So it's very important to tell people what you do and how they can work with you very specifically. In other words, you need to make offers. And this is where the rubber meets the road, right? This is where people say, well, I don't get clients from my YouTube channel. Well, how often do you tell people on YouTube channel that this is what you do? This is how you can help people. How often do you mention that you work with, that you teach, or that you coach, that you're looking for clients, that people can connect with you? Even inviting people into your free spaces on your list, those are important parts of it. And we take it for granted that people will just go click the link and do the search. And maybe that's because you are this way. But often people might get distracted and they may not get the opportunity to do that. So we are the ones to actually help them. Often people do not know what you are offering until you tell them. Okay, until you explicitly tell them, this is how I want you to work with me. And finally, my final thing that I wanted to say is about list and building email list, or the so-called freebie or lead magnet that you may have heard a lot. If you're here on YouTube, you may have read or watched videos and things like that. Do I need my lead magnet? And often people go on YouTube and they hesitate to make any offers because, well, but I don't have the lead magnet. And then if it's the lead magnet, if that problem is resolved, well, but I don't have the landing page, or if I don't, but I don't. And so it just keeps, it's just one of those self-sabotage ways, or like resistance, that shows up when you really are maybe afraid of something, or you think that you're going to make a mistake that is absolutely irreparable. But that's not true. So let's say you just started on YouTube and you're posting your videos and you're looking for ways to connect with other people, and you get new subscribers to your channel. What can you invite them to sign up for free? Well, you can already today do, for example, speaking clubs, if that's the goal, or that's kind of the niche you want to move towards. You can already do kind of Q&As. You can do live classes. And then here, this is where people are like, well, but I can't do this because I'm an introvert. And I can guarantee you, if you're on YouTube, you're already not an introvert. And then another thing that you also want to ask yourself is the price that you are willing to pay. When we're teaching our students and we're teaching them languages, they are often paying a really high price, and we ask them to pay the high price. And I'm not just talking about the money and not even the time. I'm talking about the price of their reputation. Like if you are some kind of a CEO, or if you are some kind of this person that is very well known and prominent, and now you're putting yourself into a position of a learner, and good for you. um, it still costs reputation. It still costs some kind of like discomfort, right? To say that, oh, I'm taking classes. You're putting yourself in the position of a learner. It's a very humbling thing. You're also putting yourself in a position of a fool, right? When you are going out there and trying to speak the language, when you actually are not very, very good at speaking the language. And so that's the question that I, want to ask teachers that are saying, well, I'm just an introvert. I can't do this. Well, if you don't want to put your face out there, which you will at some point anyway, because that's the way people trust you, right? If you're hiding your face behind some kind of a uh, flower or a globe with the language dictionary, you're hiding something, and that's how people perceive that. And that it's just marketing branding 101. So what can you do? You can do a podcast, right? You can write, but then as you do that, you want to invite people into your space. And that's why, like, just showing up and posting something on your tiny little account is not going to give you also enough feedback from people. I mean, some people may leave you comments, but other people may not. And so you don't know what are people thinking when they're watching your YouTube video. Now, when you bring them into the space where you're doing conversation club or you're doing a book club, people can't tell you exactly what they're thinking and how they're feeling. Because guess what? Not only are you an introvert, many of them are introverts too. And so it helps to create space where they can come and chat with you. And so today we talked about free stuff. Why do people only want free stuff? Do they really? How you can create your free stuff, how you can make sure that it's strategic, and how you can use it to build goodwill and trust to actually create and offer something that is paid, because the people that are willing to engage with you and give you their time, like you are watching this video or watching this live, are likely the people that are in the future going to be more interested and more likely to hear if you have a product, a book, a workbook, or or a some kind of a course coming up. So if you want to learn more on marketing specifically for online language teachers, none of the big and flashy, go viral, become millionaire kind of stuff, but small, sustainable, and strategic and smart, I invite you to sign up for my Smart Teachers Kit. There's information in the description. And I am looking forward to connecting with you. If you have more questions, please drop them in the comments. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel as well. It helps my videos get seen by more people, and it allows me to learn more how I can be more useful to you. Thank you so much. I apologize for my voice actually losing it right in the middle of it. But I really appreciate you being here, and I'm wishing you all the best this weekend. Bye, everyone.